June 2nd, Sunday, 9:30 Mountain Time, 2017. Story coming out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Pilot talking about weather phenomenon, then the plane mysteriously drops off radar. Unfortunately, and sadly, it crashed, killing all 6 people on board. And our condolences go out to the families of the victims of this terrible crash. And it's mysterious. They were talking, the air traffic controller and the pilot were talking about a weather phenomenon. Doesn't say what type of weather phenomenon. So I go to the GOES composite, and I'm looking at the weather right above Wisconsin at the time this happened, which would be around 9 Universal. Happened at 3:20 in the morning. This is the time frame that it happened. Those are like random clouds. I don't really see anything that would, and it happened right below my cursor. So I don't really see anything that would be like extreme weather or anything like that. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. Was it a coincidence that they were just talking about weather phenomenon and then the plane crashed? I'm not sure. I do know that up in this area, in the northern part of the United States, especially this year, there's been a lot of weather phenomenon. And that's what I want to touch on. What is causing this weather phenomenon that's farther north? I always remember the bulk of the intense weather through here. And don't get me wrong, they've had their share this year. But I just don't remember this much activity up in the Wisconsin area, especially. They've had tornadoes in Wisconsin. They've had tornadoes in Maine. Yesterday, there was anywhere from 4 to 5 tornadoes in Maine. At least 3 touchdown, but you can see right here on the map, it does show 4. Here's some damage that they caused. This is in Maine. Very, very rare. Remember back in, there's tornadoes in Wisconsin. Topples trees, damages homes, and this isn't the first tornado that we've seen this year in Wisconsin. There's been a lot of intense weather. And then we had in Michigan, at one time I think there was 1 million people without power after severe storms and high winds knocked down trees and did a lot of damage. And they were without power up there in some places for a few weeks. And this is in northern Michigan. So the weather in that part of the country this year has been a phenomenon indeed. Even in Pennsylvania, parts of upstate New York have seen large hail, high winds, damaging thunderstorms. But today, or actually yesterday in Maine, was very, very rare. Tornadoes in Maine. That's just odd. So, something has changed. Something has definitely changed. Here's some of the storm clouds over in Maine. Here's what I want to present to you. And here's another example of this is intense hail over in Spain from yesterday. Look at how deep that hail is. Incredible. Something appears to have changed. We can go back here to the weather map and I'll show you. You can see the intense storms over Maine. So there they are right there. There's the tornado generating storms. It's like this severe weather has moved north about 8 degrees. The severe weather normally is in the center of the United States, consistently. I don't remember all of this severe weather being up in the northern part of the country. It's as if something's changed. Remember the farmer from southeast Michigan that noticed there were no flies on his farm back a few weeks ago? and he's been a farmer here for many, many, many years, and he's very familiar with the land. And no flies, that was a big deal. Like something happened to the larvae of those flies, and they did not hatch. He did not see flies on his farm for quite a while, and they should have been there because they had a mild winter. But up in here's where they had no power, or at least for a while. About 1 million people were without power. They've had tornadoes over here in Wisconsin, now tornadoes over here in Maine. So it's like this intense weather is now being moved to the north, about 8 degrees. Something has changed. And Lynn, the farmer from southeast Michigan, has made another big observation that I know a lot of you have noticed too. I've noticed it myself, not only with the sun, but I've noticed it with the moon. They seem like they're out of place. So let's just say, and this is a good example here, he's going to explain to you how he's noticed that the sun, and he can prove it with his solar panel here. This is the way the solar panel was configured for the sun, and now it's not in the sun like it always has been, and he's had to move it because the sun is too far north. And he's noticed this from his farm, like the Inuits up in northern Canada. You know, he's very familiar with the land and the sun and how things work on a year-to-year basis. Something's changed. I'm going to let him explain it to you. Here goes.
The farmer that didn't have any flies. I just wanted to show you real quick. I use solar panels out in the pasture, and being in the northern hemisphere in Michigan, we would always face them to the south and catch the sun coming across. Well, it's coming up so far north now, the last 2 seasons, that I've had to turn all these panels around. I just wanted to show this for representation, that everything was built this way to face the south. It worked this way for years, but last couple seasons doesn't work.
So now when the sun comes up, travels across the sky, his solar panels are not harvesting energy like they always have. The last 2 seasons, he's had to move them because the sun is about 8 degrees farther to the north. Like this bad weather, it's about 8 degrees farther to the north. We're even seeing tornadoes up in Canada. So could the sun being too far north, or the earth have tilted to the south, change weather patterns? I would say that's very possible. It's just a thought. I wanted to share that with you. This was another great observation by Lynn, the farmer from southeast Michigan. And I want to thank you, Lynn, once again for an excellent observation. Guys, I'm just sharing this with you because I know a lot of you have noticed that the sun is rising way too far north. And I've noticed, just like tonight, it was setting way too far to the north. So maybe there's some truth to it. We're just trying to get to the bottom of it and figure it out. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you, Lynn, and be safe out there.